reseller friends, welcome back to Seller's Corner. I'm Erynn from Vendoo, and today we're going to talk about a really hot topic, live selling. I'll teach you everything you need to know before you sell live. Before I do, let me invite you to subscribe to our channel. We publish content all the time, all related to Vendoo product tips, community updates, and information about how to scale and grow your resale business. Live selling is taking the reseller world and the e-commerce world by storm. It is the hottest thing. Sellers are loving it, and buyers are loving this new, fun, interactive way to shop. Whether you're selling live on social media, Whatnot, Poshmark Live, Jamble, or any of the other new selling apps, here's a few general tips that you can consider before you do your first live sale. So first is to organize. And that sounds obvious, right? But you'll really want to organize yourself for when you actually do the live. And I'm telling you this from experience because I did not organize adequately prior to the first time I went live. And it created a really flustering experience where I was trying to look good, sound good, and kind of operate smoothly, but I was just ill prepared to do so. So you'll want to have the items physically and electronically organized in the way that's required based on where you sell. That brings me to number 2, doing what's called loading your sale. So this process is a little bit different based upon where you're selling, but what it will entail is first creating the sale, and 2, loading it, whereby you select the listings that will be included in the sale. Loading your sale is super important. First, because it will show the items that you're going to sell, and most platforms have a way for buyers to ahead of time kind of engage with those items, see those items, and get excited. And 2, because it will keep you organized when you're actually clicking the item. Because what you don't see behind the scenes when you watch one of these sales is the administration. You have to kind of click around, pin something, start the auction of something, all while you're holding it, describing it, etc. A lot of sellers don't truly load their sales to be more time efficient. So they might do a really quick listing, even without photos or titles or information, and that works really great for some people because it's all about the volume. That said, if time allows, if you actually create the listings, show the items, you might have more people browsing that will then bookmark or save your show to come see the pieces that they've expressed interest in. The next tip is to advertise. You definitely want to put your show out there. There are so many ways to advertise your sale. If you have a social media, an Instagram, or any type of following, definitely post about it there. It is a myth that you need to have hundreds of thousands of followers to do really well. You can have a really small audience and still get people that are interested because you've advertised well. For example, showing some things that you're going to sell. Depending on where you're selling, there's other ways to advertise the sale by creating a catchy graphic, by creating video content and uploading it, even going to reseller Facebook groups that allow links and promotions, and putting the word out there every way you can. Next is to plan and set up. So I mean physically set up your space. This sounds so obvious, but I've seen some spaces on live sales that I don't want to buy from. You really want a well-lit, clean area. Maybe put your pets in another room with the door closed so there aren't like animals running around. Minimal interruptions. I know we all have different circumstances. What I'm saying is do the best you can with what you've got. We all know that looks matter, which is why we try so hard with our photos and all of the editing. Your looks in your space matter too. So find a space that works for you and then set it up in a way that works for you. So for example, I purchased these on Amazon. They're really inexpensive. I'll link them below. And I just put them on the hangers with numbers that correlate to the numbers I've loaded in my sale. Or they correlate to a master list I'm keeping. Or however you're gonna do this, there's some correlation so that you can find items. My first sale ever, I didn't do this. I just thought I'd keep them in the order. And let me tell you, that didn't work and it didn't last. Because I was live, I was flustered, I was skipping around, I didn't know what I was doing. They didn't end up getting hung back in that order and it created a mess. Well, the mess problem is solved by doing this and assigning somewhere electronically that number. Another thing I wish I did before my first live was just take a minute to look at each piece and think about how I'm going to describe it. Because you're live, there are people there, they're asking questions, they're commenting, and I just hadn't thought of how to describe things. This is an easy example. I've got some high-rise 90s fit mom jeans here. Not all examples are so easy. And I found myself going, here's a nice red sweater, it's size, and that's something you want to avoid. And if I had just thought about what I might say per piece, kind of really briefly rehearsed it, it would have gone more smoothly and I would have felt more confident, because once I start to I personally start to shut down. So if you struggle with that, preparing yourself and almost practicing might put you more at ease and more calm. If that doesn't help, maybe having a couple shots. No, I'm just kidding. Another thing that you'll want to have nearby, unless you're going to do it beforehand, is a measuring device to take measurements on the spot. I did not take measurements prior to going live because I just didn't want to commit to the time it would take. And you know what? I'm glad I hadn't commit, because I did not get asked for that many measurements. I got asked for measurements on the items I would expect, mostly pants and some vintage items where we can't really rely on the tech. But if someone does ask, it is super quick to provide them with a pit-to-pit measurement. So I saved time on the front end not doing it, but I made it clear to everyone that I was prepared to do it quickly and on the spot. I had done it in advance for jeans because, like I said, selling vintage jeans in my case, I needed that information. So let's talk about when you actually go live, because that's the most intimidating part for some people. It's so tough to put yourself out there. It's something that no matter how often you do, can always be a little nerve-wracking. So my first tip is to not wear something tight if you sweat when you get nervous, and that sounds so silly, but it's real advice, trust me. But my next isn't as corny as it sounds, to just be yourself, right? Because that's the best you can do. When you're trying to act a different way, using your telephone voice, and being extra, it's even less genuine. It'll make you even more uncomfortable, and when you watch it back, it just might be more awkward for you. Just be yourself. You're gonna try to have fun, put some music on, but most importantly, engage with people. People are going to comment. People are going to, show up. You'll see that they've joined. I was trying to welcome everyone and say hi, and because people were in and out, I was trying to do that a few times within. Hey, if you just joined, I'm Erynn. Feel free to let me know if you'd like to run anything you see here. I'm happy to run anything you might have missed. And next up, and I just tried to keep it flowing, fill those awkward silences, and just do the best I could. It's never gonna be perfect. You're not perfect, and it's a risk of going live. But I will say that as soon as I did it, I felt much more comfortable with it moving forward. And I think that's true of anything new. So those are just a few tips. Live selling is definitely here to stay. All of the stats in the marketplaces that allow it show how much buyers love it, and some sellers are doing really well with it. It enables you to skip a lot of the parts of the classic listing process, and it enables you to make a lot of money very quickly when you do it strategically. We're gonna link below some resources about live selling, Poshmark lives, Jamble, and whatnot, so you can explore some of the coolest live selling platforms and how to get started on each. Make sure you like and subscribe. We update our channel with reseller content all the time. I'll see you next time, reseller friends. Happy live selling!